We wear the footsteps of our fathers, the trail blazed by our mothers. They bought the land with their blood, Lord, long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. Oh my. Oh, sing of Manetheren. Oh, we for the blood of Aiel. Oh, cry for Manetheren. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. Oh my. Manetheren, oh, we weep for the blood of Aiel. Oh, cry for Manetheren. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. Oh my.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. This is Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks. This is Book 1 of The Wheel of Time, Chapter 12, 13, and 14. And with me, we've got a full room. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Thanks. It's good to be back. I like the new background.
There we go. Yes, that's courtesy of Snake stealing it from somewhere. The Two Rivers. Let's see if we can make us all real small. One sec. Here we go. You can kind of see it a little bit here. I got rid of someone. Apologies, Lou. But yes, you shared it in our little group chat, and I thought, I'll tell you what, we'll chuck that in the background for now. Maybe we can every so often update it with a new map or a new bit of Wheel of Time art. But yeah, it's great to have you back, Cupcake. Thank you very much for joining us, even though you're busy away working as always, pal.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I still don't have a computer, so sorry for the shitty audio.
That's fine. I've already bullied him, guys, into muting himself, answering everything. So do not worry. So yes, we have been speeding through this, and by that I mean I bet you'll want to kill me for not doing more than one show a week. Apologies, but it's been great. So I'm going to pass you to the Dungeon Master himself, Snake, to kick us off. How's it going, bud?
Oh, it's going. So in chapter 11, we paid up with Master Hightower to get the Tarn Ferry across the river. Chapter 12 picks right up right there. Lan and the boys and Moraine and Egwene are on their way to the ferry itself. You know, they're walking down the road through this dense misty fog still. And it's early in the morning. It's pre-dawn. The party reaches the Tarn Ferry, and Master Hightower ferries them across while nervously asking whether they're being chased. So as they are waiting at the dock for the ferry, Master Hightower follows his way up with his crew, and Lan kind of like cuts the boys off from talking and flips Perrin's cloak back to show his axe, and Rand follows suit and, you know, like pushes his sword out and kind of showing it off, and Matt's knocking an arrow. And I thought that was interesting because later on, Rand asks Lan, do you think he would have pulled something? And there's a good conversation that goes on there. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So, as Master Hightower approaches, he's like, "So, where's the rest of the gold?" And Lan goes, "You'll get the rest of the gold as soon as we get across the river." He's like, "Don't worry, the gold you already gave me is put away somewhere, so you can't get it." Like there was an immediate like, this isn't exactly just a business transaction. It's kind of tense. Did you guys like enjoy that? Like these guys aren't home anymore, and that was like a significant moment. Did you think so as well? I'm curious to find out, Annie, and then Cupcake and Lou, in that order, please.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see like a whole different feel of different townspeople. Especially that Master Hightower is rudely awoken in the middle of the night and then basically browbeaten with money into doing this. So he is rightfully moody, and his bodyguards he brings them with, which in the previous chapter he said he was going to wake the boys. I didn't know if it was like some sort of swimming creatures to pull the ferry or something. So I was curious to see what boys he was referring to, and not surprised that it was a bunch of bodyguards.
Cupcake?
Yeah, no, I mean, he was on edge. I mean, I did get that. They're not in Kansas anymore, so he's wary. It is late at night. He said, "I'll take you in the morning," but no, we need to go now. So of course he was on edge. He was, he's trying to protect himself, and he was making sure that his gold that he already got wouldn't be stolen back from him once they got on the other side.
Lou?
Excellent, Lou.
I get the on edge portion, but I didn't really get the whole he was on edge. I just felt the way I listened to it, it felt like Lan was looking at him like, "I wish you would try something." That was more of the sense I got, because he kept eyeing the pouch that Lan had the gold in, and it was more of like Lan's looking at him like, "Please do. Give me a reason to slice and dice you." That's what I was getting out of that. Like, that was my way of it. So, Pineapple.
Yeah, so I found it a really interesting little section. It also showed us how savvy, I guess is maybe the best word, Lan is with regards to this, because we know from how he's dealt with himself before that realistically, even that guy and like 5 of his boys or whatever, he could probably take him out anyway. Like realistically, he wouldn't have much of an issue. But also their whole point is to kind of keep their heads down a little bit, not draw too much attention. Plus, you don't have to kill everyone you come against. So I found it interesting that Rand had a little bit of common sense to kind of play along with the right. Okay, so show them we're not easy pickings, which is interesting considering how naive he is later on when he asks Lan. Don't want to jump ahead too much, but when, like you said, he kind of said, "Do you really think they would have done something?" It's kind of like, you're the one who says Terran Ferry guys are scumbags. It's like, yeah, but don't you just say that for everyone?
Exactly where I was.
Like, no. Yeah.
That's right where I was going. Lan and Rand have that conversation. The ferryman is looking out across, looking where they're going, and Rand approaches Lan, and he's like, "Yeah, just that. Do you think he would have rolled us?" He's like, out in the darkness and the fog, man, when nobody's looking, a guy might pull some stuff that he normally wouldn't pull because nobody's looking. And goes on to say, but I heard what Two Rivers people said about Tarn Ferry folk. These guys are pretty shady. You already, he's like, yeah, but like he's not even believing his own rumors at this point. Rand is like, yeah, but really? He's like, he would sell his own mom for gold to put in a Trolloc cook pot. He don't, but at the same time, Lan goes, hush your mouth about what we've been doing, because you can get labeled a certain type of be careful. Because Rand says, well, do you think he would ferry the Trollocs across? And he's like, Lan's like, nah. Dealing with unsavory types as humans is one thing. Dealing with a half man and Trollocs is a whole different story. And Lan looks over and sees that Hightower's looking back at him, and Rand having that conversation, and Lan like, shh, and they both look over, and he puts a star. Oh shit, they're watching me. Watch them, and turns back around. And so now we're getting across the Tarn ferry. We're getting across the river, which both Matt and Perrin, once they reach the other side of the river, it's not as big as we heard. So again, like we're getting bits of their perspective. Yeah, exactly. Of their perspective of what their understanding of the outside world is versus what actually is the outside world. It's like they thought the Tarn River was huge and it was going to sweep you away. Like that's also part of how the chapter opens up, is Rand being a little nervous about being on this gigantic river with this huge current, much bigger than the Wine Spring, which we can all see behind us. And credits where credits due, I did steal that map from somewhere off the internet. If
Thank you, internet.
I remember, if I remember, I'll leave the comment down because I think it is somebody's specific print to purchase. As a matter of fact, that being said, let's keep rowing. Yes, I did do a bad. It's my fault. The ferry is rowed across in the misty river. The ferryman in Hightower oversees suspicions, and the atmosphere is heavy with distrust. We just went over that. It's very distrustful. As they get, they're disembarking from the ferry. They're all coming off, and Hightower again goes, "Where's my gold?" And he's like, "You'll get paid." Moraine says it this time, and that's something else I wanted to point out. She had Lan specifically handle all of this. She says to him, "You're taking care of the business," which is something I'm going to ask here in about a minute. And as everybody disembarks, she says, "And a silver mark for all of your boys," and all the boys come down too. And Hightower's like, "Oh fuck yeah, shit," And so Lan's paying everybody out. And as Lan's paying everybody out, the foggy mist kind of shifts and goes upriver a little bit away from them. And the ferry starts spinning around in a whirlpool in the water. And I keep calling them the boys, and I'm going to call the other boys the boys. But like Hightower's boys are like, "Oh shit, the ferry is like going somewhere." And he's like, "It's not attached, you fools." And he's yelling. And then all of a sudden, this huge whirlpool comes about and smashes the ferry. And Lan looks, "Oh, what a shame you lost your ferry in our service, Master Hightower." And Moraine is like, "Oh, wow, what a strange occurrence. I can't believe that happened." And they're all kind of pretty much standing there going, "Oh, Jesus, did that just really?" And there's no whirlpool on the Tarn River. And he's like, "Well," Lan goes, "Well," again, because like Lou had mentioned, he's eyeballing that purse. Lan never put it away. And it's like, "Let me compensate you for your boat too. This should cover it," and start sliding them more gold. They basically bought their way across this river and then sabotage the guy. One, does that make you look at Moraine any different? She's being pretty deft here with her mystic cloud misdirection and then ruining the Tarn ferry. And the actual change in who's front facing. We went from Moraine being the leader in the town to now Lan's handling everything outside of that. He's in charge. He's leading the group now. So do you look at Moraine in a different light because of, I don't want to say it, I'm saying it this way because I got no other way to say it, but like she's taking a back seat, so to speak, to let Lan take charge. And also using the power in a way that we haven't seen yet. Annie, what do you think? What do you think about Moraine and Lan current situation?
I guess I'll answer the first part first. I think it's interesting, but I think, again, everything Moraine does is very deliberate because she's a very big picture person. I believe there's a reason that she would let Lan handle all of this. One being, he's a male and a swordsman and is easily more intimidating than Moraine, unless she lets everybody know, "Hey, by the way, I'm a wizard." So Lan is just immediately being at the front it just kind of makes sense for their facade. Plus, it gives us as a reader more of a chance to see Lan in action in the more way he handles people and like the way he handles the boys and teaching them and stuff like that. So her taking a back seat also makes sense to me because she's tired from constantly taking the fatigue from these people. So she doesn't really right now have a reason to be, leading the group or anything like that. So she can kind of just relax and, regain herself a little bit. And once they get to the other side, sinking the boat, the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, well, that was kind of a dick move. But listening to it on the second time, it makes a lot more sense because, as I just mentioned, Moraine is a very big picture person. So it seems to me that it should be obvious that it's part of her plan as the misdirect, because if the half man following them thought that they were on the ferry and the ferry went down, then maybe he has to, spend more time investigating to see if they went down on the ferry. So it seems like it's a very specific part of the plan. Plus, nobody got hurt. So it doesn't seem like Moraine was trying to kill Hightower. So it doesn't really change my view of her at all. It seems very in character for her as of right now.
Excellent.
Cupcake?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a deliberate destroying of the raft so that so that nobody could follow them. And he brings up a good point that maybe that the the Trollocs and the mirror, what is it again?
Murdraw?
The
Murdraw. Yeah. That they may have thought that, oh well, they went down with the ferry. That I didn't think about that part of it, so that that's a new aspect of it. But no, she's doing things very deliberately. It's she is the Gandalf of this fellowship. So there's things that she's going to do that people aren't going to understand, but she does. And as far as Lan being the leader of the fellowship now, it makes sense because they're going into different towns, they're going into different lands, and he is a warrior. He is a warder. So he's gonna see things that the others won't. He's gonna see things with his warrior's eye that are specific. Like, oh, look at this guy over here. I'm suspicious of him, when nobody else would have been would have even thought to even look at this particular guy. For example.
Very good. Lou?
So her taking the back seat, kind of common. At first glance, listening to the boat's destruction, I'm like, hold up, is there a creature in the water that we weren't told about?
Sure.
Because it kind of, that one sequence in Lord of the Rings where they were trying to get into the cave, into like the
Safe
Misty Mountain.
and enter. Yeah.
So it kind of gave me that correlation, but then as we went on more, it's like, oh shit, Moraine pulled the okie doke. I used you, then I broke your shit. But I at least will pay you for the destruction I've caused. So I was like, well, she's, I don't see it as the misdirect to say that they drowned or that aspect. I looked at it as more of, I'm saving your life because if the Trollocs wanted your ferry, they're just going to kill you and take it.
Sure.
So that's where I thought it wasn't more of, I'm compensating you. Here's your money. Go on your merry way. Disappear into the fog. And the fog is the misdirect, if you truly pay attention, not the boat. So it played out great. Like I said, I'm thoroughly enjoying what we're listening to.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question, though. Is there only one ferry across? Is it only Hightower's ferry? Is he the only Terran ferryman?
See, that was it. He was the only one awake at that hour, that's for sure. And I did go through that in my mind because, like, I drift off on thoughts sometimes, and I'm like, well, dude, this guy seems to have like a huge ferry. He's taking, 7 horses across, 6 dudes on top of that. I was like, man, I would set up shop like, 100 yards downriver and have like a smaller one where I'm taking like 2 or 3. So, I'm logistically coming up with my own business. So I would imagine that
you're going to get smashed by his boys, mate. His boys are going to visit you.
Yeah, exactly.
And destroy
See,
you.
now, and now, you get down this rabbit hole. Now I got ruffians like intimidating my business. And so maybe he is the only one in a span. You know what I mean? Like anybody else that's within a distance that those thugs can beat up somebody.
So they have like a territory.
You know what I mean? I would imagine that's exactly where I would arrive. I can't be too close to that guy because I would be direct competition. So, I imagine that the next ferry, either north or south of where they were, is going to be a significant enough distance that it's going to slow and give them an even greater distance. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to go miles out of their way to get across the river and then have to make that back up on the other side.
Yes. So,
which is where we are.
Yes. I'll just answer the question as well, and then we'll carry on if that's okay. So with regards to Lan taking charge, I think that's very naive of you. Slap on the wrist, all of you. It is very much Moraine in charge the whole way through still, from what I can see. When they're in the Two Rivers, where everyone knows it's the women that rule everything, she can go, well, I'm the lady, and then later, I'm the Aes Sedai, and you know that I can talk to the other ladies, and I'm essentially the highest form of authority. We're now on a ship, on a ferry, where they're essentially ruffians. You can't be trusted. So it's like, you know what they react better to? They react better to a big guy, big muscles, big sword, with these big loafs in the background with their axe and their sword and their arrows, kind of being intimidating. She knows that. She knows it's going to draw less attention as well as they go into the bigger towns, that if the guy is the one doing the talking rather than the woman, because they're like, well, why is the woman? Is she a high lady? Is she very important? Is she an Aes Sedai? So yes, very much I believe that you're all fooled if you think Lan's got any actual authority here at all. And then in regards to what she does to the ship, I hate to say it, but I agree with Lou. I think it's not so much to kind of say, oh, maybe they died or maybe, they went down with the ferry. I think it's meant more so they don't return back. Because as much as he's like, well, he's not going to take him on the ferry, he very much realizes it's not really going to be his choice. The moment a Fade turns up with the Trollocs, the Trollocs aren't going to go, all right, well, we'll see if there's another one we can take later on. They're going to go, well, we're taking it. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but could the ferry not have gone further as well? Could it have not have stopped there? Could it have not kept going? So they also have to consider that the ferry isn't there. It hasn't returned. Maybe it's still going further away than where it landed. I don't know, especially like the route that it could take. But if it could have kept going further away from, I guess, Taran, is that where it landed? Then the Trollocs and the Fae don't know where it is. Did they go to Taran or did they go further across? So it just opens up more options. Brief.
I think the ferry is pretty much dedicated going just back and forth. But
only that.
Again,
okay, all right.
But still, it is going to be confusing because it just isn't there, And you made a mention real quick, Echo. I want to bring up another point. Like you said, the brigands will definitely respond better to seeing Lan and his sword, Rand and his sword, Perrin and his axe, Matt and his bow. I forgot one, and that was Tom Maryland and his knives. Yeah. And he happens to just be standing there, stretching out, and then real quick flips his hand, and then there's a dagger in his hand, and he just starts cleaning his nails. And of course, Moraine chuckles a little. She's like, like he knows what he's doing. But I was really like, I got a laugh out of Egwene, who's like on the back of her horse, going, "Oh, that was great, wonderful." And then she's like, "Shit, I'm embarrassed a little bit," because she could not respond with joy in seeing Tom do his thing with his little flourish of his daggers, and then be slightly intimidating right after that. That was. There's not a ton of spoken comedy. It's little things like that get you to chuckle, in my opinion, in this book. Sure. And so speaking of Tom, they get across the river, and Master Merlin looks right at Moraine Sedai and says, don't you think it would have been a better idea to have the fog kind of keep on top of us and keep us all the way to Berlon and all? And she very succinctly breaks it down. And she's like, I did it this way because of A, B, and C. You know, she was saying that the Drakkar isn't very bright. You know, it will report that this side of the river is clear and the cloud is moving that way. And that should also further confuse the Murdral and his Trollocs and give them a little misdirect. And Tom goes, oh, well, shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. That was a pretty good idea there, sweetie. You know, good on you. So, you know, Tom is kind of being a little nicer to Moraine because he does not care for the Aes Sedai at all. And he makes mention, and we get more of that later as they move on through. And they go up the bank a little bit. And I think it's Perrin is like, oh, man, can we take a rest, please? And oh, wait, and that was it. After Tom asks, you know, questions her what she was doing and is respectfully like, okay, I'll leave you alone about it. Matt goes, were you, I mean, did you do the thing with the fair? And then Moraine gets kind of like a little agitated. And she's like, if I keep answering all your questions, we'll never get anywhere. And that's when I'm pretty sure Perrin chimes in and he's like, can we take a nap? And then Moraine looks at Perrin and says, well, let's see what Lan has for us. And I like the way that kind of comes about because she already knows that Lan's got something planned. And they all walk up and they see this thicket of trees where this flood had happened. And it's hard for me to like imagine. So I'm going to ask, like, what do you guys think about this? Like, there's this thicket of trees that form a cave and they like crawl under this little tunnel. And then they're like in this tree root hut. Like, did that, like, I got confused there. Were you guys okay with that description? Like, how did that come across to you? Like, this light just comes out from under this brush. I'm sorry, Annie, go ahead, if you please. And thank you.
The way I envisioned it is they get to the other side and they're walking a little bit along the path, and Lan is nudging them a little bit further and further. And there's even like a quick line of Lan being like, I think it's around here. And he walks away, and as they start being like, ugh, can we take a nap? It's at least how it's described, I believe, is that it's a small, like just a small bear cave, or like a small indent in a rock face or whatever. And there is some trees and thickets put in front of it, either through natural disaster, whether could be created through magic or literally a natural disaster. And it's now obscured by brush and bramble and stuff like that. So unless you know that cave is there or you live in the cave, you're not going to really see it. And as you mentioned, the light, I believe, is Lan just turning on a lantern or starting the fire or something like that.
He makes a small fire, yes, on top of River Rock. Sorry, cupcake.
I found it to it was something that he knew of, that, you know, it's around here somewhere. Like it was a place for them to sit and you know, take a load off for a little bit. That's, you know, I didn't find any significance other than you know, other than it being odd, but it was known, and that, you know, it was a hidden alcove that's known to them in, you know, or land in this area.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. The only thing I found odd was the women could stand in there no problem, but all these men, what are they, giants in this stupid little cave?
Yeah, I did find that funny as well.
It was just a little spot. They needed some rest. They chilled out for an hour or two. The description was okay. You know, nothing out of the ordinary with it. It's like a little hole in the wall cave that Lan knew about on his journeys, probably with Moraine. So, you know, they can't be separate long. So, it was cool. Nice little descriptive, chill zone.
So, with me, I think it exposes me as quite an impatient reader / audiobook listener. because with that I'm kind of like, I get it. It's like some little thicket thing where they can go. It's not much space for them to stand and what have you. But when you was like, oh, it's created by like a flood, and I was like, oh, okay, really cool. I didn't catch any of that. I missed that. But I assume it's just Lan being resourceful, being prepared. You know, he's a Boy Scout extraordinaire. So he's just found somewhere naturally. I think I assume it's natural, and it's just somewhere where it's like we can literally just chill here for an hour. You know, it's not great. It's not got much space, but there's literally enough room for us to just put our heads down and not be seen on the road. So yeah, I didn't see too much in it either, guys, to be honest. But it was a cool little scene, right, where they're all kind of all huddled together.
I thought it was strange because he had tea there already. There was already wood there. Like Moraine and him had came through on their way to.
Yeah, they found it before.
Through that.
Yeah, he found it before. He's prepared, but yeah, I don't think it's like a special place. I think it's just a good place he found.
No, not special. But they also knew there was a high chance that they would be coming back through that exact spot on the way out, and that's what I find odd. Like there was no way to really predict it, but they were already. There's contingency, and I think that's.
Yeah,
I think it's built to set up the idea that Moraine and Lan likely have little small hideaways or safe houses in different areas, so that if they're on the run or just need a place to rest, as Eckel said, you know, they can be like, okay, we don't have to go stay in Taran Ferry. We can just get across the other side and, you know, sleep in the cave, get the privacy, you know, be discreet or whatever. I don't think it holds any significance at that location, but as you mentioned, it's already prepared, so it's clearly a pre-prepped hideaway, safe away, something like that. And as we get into the next area, they clearly have another one.
I think it does have a bit of significance in terms of the organization. So this isn't really a spoiler, but we all know that Moraine and Lan think this is important, right? What they're doing. Like, and it seems to be pretty important as well because it's setting up the whole story for us. I think they've got a lot of different eventualities for all these things. Yeah, they're very organized. They're like, right, if we got to go across the Taran, we're going to have to stay somewhere for a bit. There's probably going to be at least 5 of us, yeah, like the 3 boys and them 2, you know. So it's got to be a certain. So they probably have got certain spots at certain places where they might have had to, you know, stop at if they couldn't have gone by ferry if they went a different way. And there's probably loads of them that we're never going to see because they never go that direction. So I think it's just Boy Scout Lan, to be honest, being prepared for all eventualities.
I find that fascinating, you know, like just to have like.
It's incredible, yeah.
You know, like it's just like I don't think most of us would even think about that, you know, like having. Like, I don't have like a shipping container on the other side of town that's got like my backup plan in it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think like that, and he does. And I just was kind of, yeah, I found that interesting.
In a zombie apocalypse, we will all die. Let's be honest. As much
exactly.
as we won't, we will all die a very terrible death. Whereas Lan wouldn't. He's very organized, as is Moraine.
Yes, yes, and Moraine is very organized. So everybody's inside. Speaking of organized, so they're all getting settled in there. Just before they all get in there, there's a conversation that goes on about Moraine having to wash fatigue away again for everybody and all of that. And Lan makes a point to say that we can't ride the horses as hard as we had been over the last night, because even though they feel great, they will run themselves to death. They will kill themselves running hard because they don't feel the fatigue. And Cupcake, I know you like that about the magic system here, that it costs, you know. So they're all as Lan is preparing the tea, Moraine and Egwene are having a conversation about the one power, and they're all kind of eavesdropping on the ladies, even though they're all in the same room. This is typical of this book. You'll find it more. The women are talking as if the men aren't in the room. And Moraine is trying to walk Egwene through her first touching of the source. And so she starts explaining what Saidin and Saidar are. And we get our first description of the breaking of the world. Egwene asks Moraine a question of like, it was the men's fault, right? Like they were wicked and they tried to bore into the Dark One's prison and caused the breaking of and Moraine stops her and says, you're scared, you don't want me to say that women were also responsible. Human beings are human beings. People who can channel have fear and anger and everything else that everybody else has, apart from being able to channel the power. You want me to tell you that the men were wicked and evil, but they weren't. They were just insane. They went mental, and they did the destruction that they did because they were under the influence of this taint, which is described as a oil slick atop water. You can't get to the clean water without touching the oil first. So for men to draw on the source, they have to go through that. They keep using the word taint, and I keep saying it, but you know what I mean? That's the word.
That's the word. They changed that in the show, didn't they, Lou? I don't think they had the word taint because of the connotations, but
of our own perverted brains.
Yeah. Hashtag taint. Come on.
But you were like that. I'm channeling the show out of my mind, so please don't bring
Good
it up.
right, Lou. Proud of you. Sorry, go on, Spoke.
Absolutely, he hasn't got you yet this episode. And Moraine goes on to explain Sidar. I'm going to confuse because I always do.
Sidar and Siding, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so she explains to Egwene that channeling, being with somebody to walk you through it is much more beneficial than you trying to figure it out on your own. And Moraine makes a comment about finding two people there, and she's like, "Forget I said that." I believe somebody else's pet. Yeah. Basically, I didn't say anything. The old blood in Manetheren sings, but I didn't say any of these things. And I believe that path is set a different way for that person, and that's all you get from that. But we get a bit of lore drop. Do you guys like? Are you enjoying that? What do you guys think of the magic system now that you know a little bit more? Because they also, before you guys answer, Egwene also asks about the 5 parts of it, and air, water, fire, earth, and spirit. And she's a little jelly about men being more powerful with fire and earth, and women being more powerful in water and air. And Moraine makes the point to say to her, and this is a very Eastern thing too, is like, is there no stone that can't be worn away by water and wind? Is there no fire that can't be quenched? And conversely, isn't there, fire and earth magma that can roll right over those things, and wind wouldn't even matter. No wind can cool you off once you're being burned alive. But anywho, I digress. What do you guys think of the magic system now? Like, we're getting a little bit more. We're getting piecemealed the magic system. I'm curious to find out what your opinion on that is. Right around the horn, Annie, Cupcake, and then Lou, please, and thank you.
I don't think my opinion of it has changed yet. We have been at least I have already had kind of a grasp of what's going on with the one half, and the other half still hasn't really been explained. It's just been expanded upon that it's a pool separated into 2 halves, and one of the halves has an oil slick on it. So if you want to go swimming, you got to get oily, and you can't always wash off the oil when you get out of the pool. Okay, cool. It still hasn't been explained how you actually channel from the pool besides just touching. So I don't know enough yet to actually be interested in it. As you said, it's being piecemealed to me, so I'm taking it as it comes.
Okay. Cupcake?
I'm enjoying the magic system very much. Again, as a Dungeons and Dragons player, Magic the Gathering, it's all about mana. Mountains, plains, swamp, forest, and it's the last one. Well, whatever. But it's and who knows? Is it going to be? Are there certain parts of this magic system that are going to be more prevalent? Are you going to be able to do this kind of magic when you're in a volcano area? Are you going to be more powerful in this kind of magic when you're in a forest? Are you going to be, so that, that I'm all in. I love it. I want more. I love magic users, so that's why I'm big into like the magic system of the book, and finding more about it is just more exciting.
Very good.
You guys missed
Luke?
a key point. Like,
Go.
she sat there
Okay.
and said Egwene has raw talent. Like, remember how Egwene was doubting herself? Oh, I'm not doing it. You did that, not me. Like, she's
That's their next
explaining,
conversation, though.
but it kind of
Jumping ahead
ties
a bit.
in. Oh, yeah, whatever. That's what I see. I already know the whole other backstory. When she explained the fire and all that, I was like, yeah, it's cool, but something's always stronger than something else. And the more you go on, it's like not everything is a man-driven world. That's where I was going with it. Like, that's how I feel this book is trying to set it up. Like, yo, men are men, but women have power too. And he's kind of showcasing the magic be a woman-centric thing, where if the man touches it, he goes crazy. So you got to have, I guess in this way, you would have to, if you were a male figure, you'd have to have a strong mind. And as far as the other person she's touching on, that's the $1 million question. Who could it be? Me and Pineapple know, but the rest of you don't.
So does Ferdy. Yeah. So I'll just throw something in here real quick. I think this book is great at explaining right here and now why women are so unreasonable. She essentially gets told, look, these guys, they can't even use this without going crazy and destroying the world, and they get hunted down and all this crap. It's the worst. And then Egwene's issue is, yeah, but they get like the better powers and everything. And it's like, whoa, no, they can't use it though. They can't use it without like potentially killing all their family. It's like, yeah, but like fire, that'd be cool. It's like, all right, okay.
Right.
All right, Egwene, she exposes herself as the child that she still is. I think that's intentional, like you said earlier, without throwing back too much, when she's kind of half clapping at the Glee Man, doing these tricks. It's kind of like, yeah, we're forgetting these are kids, they're acting very grown up and they're being very mature for what they're doing, but they are also 16 to 18 potentially, right?
Right. Yeah, no more than 20. And not only that, Rand has got his eye on Egwene this whole time, watching her do this with Moraine, and he is rooting for her to fail, because he doesn't want her to be Aes Sedai. Yeah, exactly that. So
toxic partner. There you go.
And I found it funny because she, right, like we were saying with Egwene and her attitude, like Moraine says, "Oh, that last flash, that was all you," and she's like, "Really?" Like she's just like this little kid. And Rand like stands up and hits his head, and Tom like, "Oh, sit back down, buddy. It's out of your hands now." Like he looks right at Rand super sympathetically, and it's like, "It's over for you, friend." Like he already knows.
Spurg, do you feel bad for Matt, considering everyone, their initial thoughts about Matt is, well, yeah, he's the immature one, he's the like childish one, and so far from what you guys have listened to, I would hope anyway, or I'd assume you would go, well, Egwene is kind of showing herself as potentially the youngest, or at least mentally the youngest. She's the only one who went for an adventure, by the way. Let's clarify.
Right.
None of the others voluntarily left.
That's where I was headed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
okay,
Rand is like, because Rand is watching her the whole time, not just during this part, but like as they're traveling on towards Barillon. Like I bet she's getting her fucking fill of adventure now. He's a little bit smug about it because he's watching her in the saddle, and she's trying to stay upright in the saddle and keep her head up and not be worried about it, because Matt, again, he chimes in. He's like, "I bet we lost those Trollocs days ago." I'm starting to move into chapter 13. Chapter 12 winds down with Moraine giving everybody another fatigue wash, and Tom jerks away, and Moraine grabs his head and looks at him like, "Go ahead, try it again." And he's like, super pouty face, and she's kind of smirking at him and walking away like, "Ah, I got you." You know, like I found that to be a nice moment.
Yeah,
Everybody starts falling asleep, and Rand is like, "I feel great. I'm not going to," and he just passes straight out. You know, and about an hour later, Lan wakes everybody up. All right, time to go. Let's go. Let's go. It's. I think the description is the sun is like 2 lengths above the horizon, so it's early in the morning, and they're starting out
I think
again.
he says he only has like an hour's sleep. I think he says he literally has like
Yes.
an hour's sleep. It's
An hour sleep,
more than an
but
hour.
feels like he slept in a bed
3
for
days.
a day.
Mm.
Yeah, more than
I think he said 3 days. Yeah.
So they start traveling north and east again, and they got to take it slow because the horses, can't run as hard as they were, otherwise they might explode. And in the morning, Rand notices that Egwene unbraided her hair, which was a big deal back in Emmonsfield. She waited all that time. She waited until she turned 16, 17 to braid her hair. 2-3 days out of the Two Rivers. Fuck that. I'm done. I'm going to be an ice. And her and Rand get into a little bit of an argument here. Oops, those are the questions. And so like they're Rand is upset about her. He's like, "You're Egwene from the Two Rivers, Emmons Field. You're no Aes Sedai, dark friend." And everybody goes, like, and Egwene goes, "Do you even know what you're saying? She healed your father," and blah, blah, blah. And, gives him the rebuttal argument. And he goes, "I don't even know who she is," referring to Moraine. And Lan cuts it down. He's like, "Will you two shut it? You're going to get us all killed because you're arguing." And it's very childish of both of them in that situation. And everybody's kind of staring at him. But Moraine is definitely like giving him a look, and is not abashed to let him know that she feels offended, I think. What do you guys think about that argument that those two have right there? Like, Rand is watching his girlfriend essentially change right in front of him. How would you guys feel if you were Rand watching somebody you were betrothed to just kind of forego all that tradition so quickly? Annie?
I might feel some type of way, but I wouldn't be acting like that. But I'm also a lot more grown up than Rand, so
100%.
It makes you cringe, and I guess that's because it's relatable. Maybe you would have done something like that, and it's like, just shut up.
Mr. Cupcake.
Okay.
Well, in the earlier chapters, Egwene was, talking about becoming a wisdom in a different town. There's towns that want wisdoms from different areas, so that it's not, someone. So she has always had this wanderlust, and it bothers Rand. Baby, you can't do this. What's going on? Like that's. I mean, that's so he's trying to rein her in, but she doesn't. She still has that little bit of. That little bit of wanderlust, So yeah, so now, I don't have to be tied to the binds of the town. So yeah, let me get this out of my hair. Let me, with my flowing locks, she's so and that bothers him. She's going away from tradition, and he still has that. I don't believe he feels he's on a quest yet. He's just running away because they told him to. Egwene, on the other hand, she's on a quest. She's doing this because it's adventure and excitement.
And I don't think it helps that she's going to become an Aes Sedai, and it's clear that Rand doesn't really like them, even though he's like, Moraine's fine, but I don't even really like her.
Luke?
Dude, it is young love. They're not mature. That's how I saw that whole argument. We were once 20, learning how to date, not really understanding the ways of the world. And in her case, like Cupcake says, she's wanderlusting. She always kind of wanted to leave somewhat. And Rand is that typical you can't do this type figure without my permission, unfortunately. So, it was just young love. What do you do about it? It's kind of like, I hate to say this, I'm trying to tell my kid, like, yo, dude, you need to calm down sometimes with your wife, bro. Like, I understand it's like but tone it back or you will lose her. And in his case, he doesn't want to lose her to the Aes Sedai.
Right.
That's all it is. He doesn't want to lose her.
Go ahead, Pineapple. You first, and then I will make a point.
Oh, perfect.
I gotta take
perfect.
this call. I will be right back.
Yeah, go for it, Lou. No, it's fine. I'll track you off for a sec, right? There we go. Yes. So, funnily enough, that's why I was trying to say to Lou earlier how important it is that we let Spur kind of direct us chapter by chapter. Because at this chapter, I go, and now we realize Rand is the most immature out of the lot. We realize that he's kind of like, no. What I want is I'm forced to go away, but you stay and do what we would have done just without me. So you just stay here, and then maybe I'll come back, and then maybe you'll be a wisdom in like 40 years time. But realistically, we'll just live on the farm, and you cook for me and stuff like that. That'd be great. Whereas Egwene's like, hey, I'm my own person. Yeah, cool. Like, yeah, it would have been nice if I, was a wisdom. But hey, now I'm going to be a nice guy, and that's great as well. And I'm out on this adventure. And he's like, I think he's somewhat jealous as well that she has the option to go on an adventure. She has the option to be like, oh, maybe I will go to the Aes Sedai. Maybe I will take the braids out of my hair. So yeah, he does show himself as at least emotionally immature in this, very much so, even to the fact that he's outright saying, well, like the dark friend Aes Sedai. It's like, oh, dickhead, she's over there, she's right over there, and you're going with her to Aes Sedai land where they got theme parks of Aes Sedais everywhere. You're going to go on the Aes Sedai ride later, so maybe don't be an absolute bellend right in front of them as well, especially when they're saving your life. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a good scene because it does highlight
amazing scene.
That he wants her to stay put. You should be right there waiting for me. I might be back. And she's like, nah, I got agency. I'm going to be an Aes Sedai. And he's like, and you don't want to do that though. You really don't. And she's like, well, Aes Sedai will braid their hair if they want to braid their hair. And I'm going to do that. And like you guys had mentioned, you guys are seeing the same thing I am. He's kind of losing a grip on her, even though they really didn't have it. It was there, they were into each other.
Yeah.
It's a very identifiable thing, I think. Like you guys
Sure.
said, we've all been there at one point, and you're just like, oh, Rand, you're so cringe right now, dude. Just chill, let her grow, let her do it. If it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out. But we're all mature and we know this. And that's what Tom is at. Like,
yeah. I sorry to interrupt, but I think his issue as well with her is that the whole way through he's kind of like, Egwene again. Oh, this is getting a bit much. I'm not really that into this, and as much as I really like her and what have you. I kind of don't really look forward to seeing her, and now she's coming along as well. She's forced herself to come, and now she's like, yeah, all right, Randy, you crack on. I've got my own stuff. I'm gonna go to Tar Valon. And he's like, oh, yeah, but I'm gonna have to slow dump you first, by kind of get I've got so many things I've got to do. They were so different. It's like, no. She's like, no, it's fine. You crack on. You do what you need to do. So yeah, I think that is hurting his ego a little bit as well, that he's not even being consulted. Not that he should. Sorry, #feminism. But I think he feels like she's just changing all her stances without even thinking about.
Right. What she's doing to her friends around her, like she's just making an immediate, somewhat seemingly hasty choice and is ready to run away. She's like, bye, and like you mentioned, Pineapple, you went right with where I was going to go. She made the choice to leave and he didn't. He was resentful of that right away. She's like, I'm coming along. And she's like, ugh, like going tagging along again. But she's also chastising them too. Egwene is like, you men, and you want your adventure. You're 2 days away from home and you're already thinking about going back home. Because Perrin and Matt were chilling. They were all kind of sitting there post-fight. They were at further 2 days later or so after quietly riding through the woods because it's so tense and everybody's kind of already sick of seeing each other. Matt goes, I bet we lost him for good. This is like the second or third time he's like trying to reassure himself that they're not being chased.
Yeah, that'll work, Matt. Just keep saying it, mate. Jesus.
Yes, he has that repeat the lie and it'll eventually become the truth mentality. He's like, I'm just gonna stick my head in the sand and these guys aren't coming after me. And he and Perrin are talking about going to Ilion or Gillidan or any of these other places, or we want to see the world. And I find it a little strange because Moraine approaches them now and says, listen, you guys are already trying to give up. You guys are being chased. You have no choice right now but to be chased and hide and be chased again. I'm sorry. The Dark One is looking for one of you or all three of you. I'm not sure yet. But if whatever he wants, I oppose. And he wants you. And if he gets close to getting you, know this. I will destroy you myself before I let the Dark One have you. And it shuts all three of them up real friggin' quick. I am curious, and hopefully Luke gets back by then. Now we're getting I was asking about her behavior up until this point, because now you're seeing a side of her that we hadn't seen before. She's literally threatening them. YouTube's terms of service.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a good moment. How did you guys feel about that? Were you like, oh shit? Was that one of those types of things for you, or are you worried?
Okay, so again, it doesn't really change my view on her at all. I think she's made that clear in her intentions if she hasn't come out and said it yet. And now she's coming out and just outright saying it. Hey, you guys don't have a choice in this, okay? I've low-key kidnapped you guys. I've just kind of made the illusion that you have had this, like, you're coming along and, let's go. But you're in this now and you don't have a fucking choice, because the alternative is possibly way worse, and I'm not letting you guys fall to darkness, because then you guys could become like super dark agents, and I'm not. That's why we kill you guys.
Oh, I did skip a bit of lore too. We'll get back to you here in a moment. Cupcake, go ahead.
She's flexing her knowledge and her ability. Like, I don't know what they want with you, but they want something. And if worse comes to worst, I will take you out before they do. So she's be wary of what is to come, because I could be your best friend or your worst enemy. So that's what I took from it.
Nice. Lou, what do you think about Moraine threatening the boys that way?
Oh, I fucking loved it. When I heard it, I loved it. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you who's boss. Like Annie said, yeah, I kidnapped you, but I know what the Dark One wants. They don't know, but she knows. And in her eyes, one of you three is the key. If I have to kill you, so be it. No one will have you. No one will use you. No one can manipulate you. So do what I say. I'll keep you alive. If you don't want to, I'll just take you out. No problem.
Pretty matter of fact.
Very good. I hate saying it, and eventually we will move past it. But this is essentially the Hobbits getting to the Prancing Pony, right? Where they're kind of like Mr. Underhill drinking pints and what have you. And they're like, oh, but we've done it. We survived, guys. We've done the adventure. And she's going, oh, no. Let's put this into perspective for you guys, all right? They're gonna come and kill you. They're gonna come and try to do worse to you. Okay, this is just a lull. So you've got to buck your game up, all right? Because if they don't kill you and they get you, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh, excuse my French. So essentially, she's kind of, I think, intentionally kind of building it up a bit for them, so they don't kind of relax too much. As we find out in a little bit, they're kind of like saying, don't drop your game, essentially. But I think it's needed, because these kids are kind of like, oh, well, we did it. And like Matt keeps trying to say, and it's probably pissing her right off. He's kind of like, well, that's done then. Good work, everyone. We survived. And she's like, no, maybe I've been too nice to you guys. You don't fully understand that
Exactly.
imminent danger still. So yeah.
Matt
I remember
type
being
that.
very much like that. Yeah.
Matt, you know, this counterpart versus the show counterpart, you could tell the differences. But this Matt here, he's quick to take his foot off the gas. Like he's like, let's just slow down a bit here. We're good. We're relaxed. Let's relax.
He never
And
wants
he's
to
like,
do the
no.
chores, Lou, does he? Yeah, he's the first one to try to avoid doing chores back home as well. So yeah, it matches him perfectly. Sorry, Spur.
Go ahead, Spur.
Well, and not just like trying to shirk the chores, but getting done quickly with it, and maybe half-assing it, and not necessarily tying every knot so tight, or just Matt. And so that leads into the next, as we're moving along, as they're traveling, they start training. Like Moraine and Egwene are off in their own little cut every night, but as they go on, and Moraine suggests to Lan to train up the boys a little bit, perhaps. And so all three boys go out with the bow and arrows and shoot a man-sized knot in a tree. First Perrin goes, nails 3, nice cluster. Matt goes an even tighter cluster. Ran again with the flame in the void. Seek the flame in the void. Nearly nails bullseye shots, all 3 right in a row. And they're all and Matt's like, "Good job, dude," and Perrin's like, "Good job, dude. We're doing great, man." And they're all like, happy and cheering. And again, because this happens. This is the second time it happens. Lan goes, "Sure, great, good job. Now, if we can get all 3 of you bows, we'll be all right. Now, even better, if we can get the Trollocs to stand still at pace so you can shoot those arrows and kill them, you'll be all right." And the boys are like, "Oh." Like, they just get so deflated after that,
For sure. Spurg, I was picturing this in my head. I don't know if you guys did, but when they're like shooting the arrows and what have you, I imagine Rand was essentially like, what is it, the 1980s Robin Hood, splitting his arrow with his final shot, kind of being like,
being super, like,
anything, Rand should be the one able to hit a moving target because he has the most practice with the bow and arrow when he goes hunting.
And not only that, his father taught him a lot of things, and that's where we're going. So, they do the bow and arrows, and it's very nice. And Lan is like, "Well, the Trollocs are going to be coming at you, so let's see if we can't teach you something in arm's reach." And so he shows Perrin a nice flowing thing to do with his axe: block, parry, slice. And so, Perrin's move, now instead of, and like Rand makes a mention of wildly swinging the axe like a madman and jumping in the air, leaping down, like, so again, they got these grandiose ideas like we do. We see movies, so we think every gun shootout is, when that's not necessarily the case, and starts teaching Rand a little bit. And he makes mention to Rand, clear your mind, because using the sword is not only physical, it's mental too, probably more so mental. And starts explaining to feed your emotions, get rid of it all, clear it all. And then Rand goes, like the flame in the void. Tam taught me that. And then like, Lan just kind of stares at him.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like, shut up and listen, basically. Like, and another thing I'm guilty of, it's like, "Oh, I know that," and you want to immediately expound your knowledge to the guy that's trying to teach you, and you're like, "I got it, I know what I'm doing." So he's very, and I find this is a great way to dump this on us too. They're getting training, so now we know they're, muscling up a little bit. Egwene is getting a little bit of an insight to what she's going to be is. And Rand being Rand, everybody goes to sleep one night after training.
Before you move on from that, it's briefly just said right after that, Rand is like, "Oh yeah, I know about that. My dad taught me about that." That Lan like makes sure not to make a readable expression to him, and he says, "I can't turn you from a sheep herder to a blade master overnight," which
within an hour
is a very important choice of words, because he goes from not making a reaction to using a very specific word of calling him a blade master. He mentioned before that the heron mark blade is a blade master's sword, and I believe that is a more of a nudge confirming that Tam was hot shit back in the day, that he may have been a blade master for sure, and not just has a blade master's weapon. So he's like, I'm not, just because your dad knows that shit doesn't mean you know that shit. I'm listen up.
Wait,
Exactly,
Andy, are you
very
saying that you
astute.
didn't buy it for a few coppers off a fisherman? Wow, I guess Rand's a bit gullible. Who would have figured it?
Right.
Absolutely. And this is our little montage scene, Eye of the Tiger kind of stuff.
Yes.
So they're all good. We're getting a little bit of off-screen buff for our main characters. Now I lost
Even
my place.
Perrin needs a montage.
I agree. Oh, that's where I was at. So they're all doing all their training, and one night after everybody's asleep, Tom is sawing logs again. His snoring is legendary. Rand makes his way over to where Moraine and Egwene are and starts eavesdropping on them. And I kind of jumped the gun, but this is where we get more Aes Sedai lore about the men not being evil and Egwene asking more questions. And we get a little bit of, this is where we hear about Earth, Wind, Water, and Spirit. Go planet. And not only that, but she does expand on the lore of the men who go mad and who the Red Aja are. So now we get a little bit of insight to Tar-Valon and the Aes Sedai, and that there's more than one kind. There's factions that squabble among themselves, we're told. Because again, they are human as well. These aren't, just because they have power doesn't absolve them from our basic instincts. But the Red Aja specifically are there to find men who can channel and prevent them from breaking the world again. So they are literally hunting down men who can channel and destroying them to one way or another. And we'll get more insight into that as chapters go on. And in their conversation, Egwene and Moraine, Egwene says, "Why are they chasing us? Why did this even happen?" Like, she got fed up towards the end of the conversation, and Moraine looks dead at where Rand is, where he thought he was not. He's wrapped up in his little blanket. He stalked his way there. There's no way they knew. No, he's there. She knew he was there, looked dead at him, scared the pee out of him. And he went right back to camp and pretended to be asleep. And so that's where that chapter closes. I'm pretty sure, according to my notes, I scrabble things, so scatterbrained. What do you guys think about all that? Like, he eavesdropped on that lore, and she knew he was there and let him hear all of that. Do you think there's any agenda behind letting him know that men are in trouble if they channel? Or what happens to them? Annie?
I would say probably. I mean, everything she does has a reason. She could have just said, "Hey, Rand, you know what? You want to come over here and listen to this closer?" If she knew he was there, she let him listen. So obviously there was a reason for it. What it is yet, probably just a warning. Hey, if you're able to do it, you should probably avoid it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. She was, she knew he was there, but she didn't want to let it. She was probably giving a little bit more information than she should have, knowing that he was listening. Because there is obviously something special about him. His eye color is different. And of course, it being an Aes Sedai, she may not know exactly what it is, but I have a feeling, she knows there's something about Rand that makes him special. So she's giving a little bit more exposition-y information so that she knows that he knows that she knows. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. There's going to be a lot of that.
Right. I figured.
So
Lewis?
to echo, excuse me, what they're both saying. I was more intrigued with the breakdown of the other Aes Sedai colors.
Mm.
Granted, I know what the colors are through the show, but up to this point, we don't know their colors and how the factions kind of maneuver against each other. That's like fascinating, just to hear that little tidbit. And I guess I kind of glossed over the fact that she noticed Rand there, but again, just like Cupcake said, she's not saying much. But little do you know, she knows exactly what Rand is. She's just not saying it. It's her guilty little suspicion. She wants to see more before she announces it, because she's seen when they were in town. They're all special in their own way. The question is, what's their specialness to them?
What? Go ahead, Echo. You and then right on time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to cut Lou off just in case.
I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there.
He's been very careful. I was like, I'm just going to, just in case. I think as well, we got to give, as always, once an episode, right, credit to Robert Jordan with regards to this, where he's found a brilliant way, especially in this chapter, of kind of just telling us stuff as well. You know, where obviously Egwene's getting stuff explained to her, and we're also kind of going, oh, okay, cool, that's interesting to know. She's getting told stuff that, yes, sure, maybe she wants Rand here, or she doesn't mind if Rand hears, but also that we're kind of like, right, okay, so Arja, Red Arja, okay, so the Red Arja don't like guys that can channel and they hunt them down. Got you. Okay, that's a bit of information there. I'm sure that won't ever come up ever again in the entire series. But yes, I liked it. I very much liked the last two chapters. To be fair, they were very. I think they're quite subtle in a way, in terms of like they're just kind of, this is just an in-between bit. It's a bit of a lull, everyone, don't worry, but it's giving you a load of stuff that you're gonna really appreciate even later, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you to pay attention. And both Annie and Lou mentioned things that I did kind of gloss over.
100%,
because I'm moving along. I again, my notes are always crap. I didn't take, I never took good notes. But
hey, that's why we do this as a collective.
Yeah, you guys get to correct me when I'm wrong. It's always satisfactory. And I agree with you, Echo. Robert, there is a way to deliver exposition and a straight. In television shows, like sometimes they do it at the end of the show where it was like, oh, this is what happened. And you get like this montage of all these scenes of what really went on. And that's not happening. I believe
we made it across the ferry and then the whirlpool got kind of wound it down. It's like, oh, thanks for just kind of narrowing it down in the sentence for us. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. And it's situational too. And I forget who made the point, but Tom's there to be, I think it was Annie, you made the point that Tom's there to make exposition dumps because he's a worldly person. Same with Land. He's been places, he's seen things. He could educate, because we are all in the position of being from the Two Rivers ourselves. We ain't seen shit outside of that for 15 chapters almost now, we're just now getting to Barrelon. That's where this chapter starts to end. I'm pretty sure that's where it winds down, is them moving on and getting to, they crest that hill and they see it, and Matt goes, wow, a city. And Tom's like, a city. Like, again, like, it's not necessarily like straight up jokes, but it's little things like that where you're like, because we all are in a modern time and we know what a city looks like. So, but we get a nice description here.
X, is that what you're saying, Spurg? Sorry to bring it into the Dabbleverse for a second, but are you trying to say that they are Karmic X and they are finding
very
it
much
fascinating when there's an Arby's? Yeah. Okay.
They don't know where the Valley of Men come from.
That's exactly it. They're from the Valley of Men. We know everything. We've been on adventure. And but that is very much it. They're seeing Barrelon for the first time. It's like somebody who's 41 years old getting Chipotle for the first time. They're like, holy cow, this is amazing. There's a Popeyes here. Like they're seeing it, and approach the gate, and they're like, wow, there's this big like wooden gate, like there's a barricade that goes all the way around, and there's watchtowers, and they make a point to say that the roofs aren't thatched, like everybody has slate roofs. And wow, Perrin goes, wow, I can't believe so many people would live together. Like he's disgusted by the cluster of people. And Rand is just agape and grinning, like, wow, like they're all awed by, except for Lan, Moraine, and Tom. They're all just like, come on, we're going. Yeah, it's old hat to them, and I that's what makes it so fun to me, because like, yeah, we're on that journey. We're like, wow, Barillon, and we're right in between that. We're like, yeah, city, big deal. We've been to cities before, but they haven't. So, they arrive at the gate, and there's the gatekeeper, go away, the gate ain't opening for nobody. Another, angry half-toothed person yelling at them, and then sees who it is, and he sees Lan and Moraine, who are no longer Lan or Moraine. They go by Mistress Alice and Master Andra, Andra, Andra. Because Barillon is even more so worse than the Two Rivers of not showing any love for the Aes Sedai. So they're just going to try to stay under the radar. So they inform the boys that we got an alias here. Don't talk about Trollocs. Don't talk about being chased. Don't talk about the two. Don't talk about anything. And so Lan and Moraine get him into the gate. Lan, of course, greasing palms again. Here's a big fat gold coin for you. He's like, you don't got to do that. Give me that gold coin and let me put it right in my pocket. Thanks anyway. Trying to be that guy where he's like humble about getting paid a big ass gold coin. But this is exactly where we get some more
Under
news.
the table, mind you.
Yes, he's not being paid by the city. This is his cash in hand. It's nobody knows I got this. We get more world lore, because this is the gatekeeper, and he's seen things, and people are passing in and out. And some of the people who are passing into town turn out to be white cloaks. We've gotten 2 new things here in these chapters. Another faction is introduced, and we also heard the term dark friends more than once. We heard it maybe once or twice early on, but now we have to worry about people who are friends of the dark. Sons of bitches. But now we find out who the white cloaks are. The mayor will only let 10 of them in at a time. There's a camp, hundreds of them right outside, and they're looking for some reason to start some rebel. They're looking for any reason to cause some trouble, because they don't explicitly say, but I'm the children of the light, and white cloaks kind of have their reputation in their title. They're children of the light. They're looking for any darkness to root it out, and they're going to squash it by any means necessary. Yeah,
just to clarify, so children of the light and white cloaks, same things, right, Spurg?
Yes.
2 names for the same thing, just in case.
Right.
I just realized when you said it, I was kind of like, it might be confusing if people are like, I thought, who are they then? Are they the guys that are only allowed 10 in at a time? So yeah, just thought I'd clarify.
White cloaks being slang for them because they have white cloaks.
There you go, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Annie, that there is, and everybody else too, because Cupcake with the Murdral, Half-Man, Fade, there's going to be more. They all have, there's a lot of nicknames for a lot of things. Yes, that's another one. But so we find out about the White Cloaks being in town. And he talks.
I think this is a good point to put up a question that hasn't been answered by the book. So, it may be something that can be answered easily, or it's you'll figure it out. But by whom do they get their authority to act the way they do? Is it just because they have magical powers and they can kick your ass if you say no to them? Or do they have some sort of governmental authority, that there's some sort of magic police, and they have
TBC.
some legal authority but not necessarily, and they have to follow some rules, but they have the book hasn't made that clear yet, and it's something I'm curious about.
That's a
TBC, right, Spur?
Yeah, it's a read and find out kind of thing at TBC. You will find out. This isn't, you're just getting a cursory mention. This is another thing that Robert Jordan does fairly well. I said piecemeal or trickle, or you'll get a little bit of this and that. And it's just so you can be, he's training you, I think, in a way, like, oh, you heard this before.
Doesn't overload
so by the time, Right. By the time you hear it again the third time, you're like, oh yeah, I am getting a little familiar with this term. Yeah, you will find out more about the Children of the Light. They do play a significant part in this entire series. They're
And the Aes Sedai.
not the most. They're also not a very loved faction of people.
They're an interesting group. Keep an eye out for them. Very interesting.
And so, and I forget his name, but the gatekeeper is talking about rumors of Logain. We got a name for the guy in Gildan, who has been proclaiming himself as the Dragon Reborn. Oh no! And he won a battle against some Aes Sedai in Gildan, so they hear.
Slapped them down.
Right, but so after they get their news, they all head into town, and Lan. I think this chapter closes with Lan popping open a gate that nobody knows where that gate should have been. He takes his knife out and like pops the fence open, and they all walk into the back stable of a nice huge inn called the Stag and Lion, which is the title of chapter 14. Title of chapter 13 was Choices. And it's that title because they make choices. I didn't ask too many questions about it.
No, perfect.
No, we did. Like, because we talked about the Aes Sedai breaking the world, and oh, here we go. Did you guys get a greater sense from the gatekeeper about the wider world? Did his lore drop, like, expand things for you? Like, now we know there's battles elsewhere, and we got another town or country we don't know yet where some shit's going down. What do you guys think about the rumors of the greater world abroad?
As far as it is to me, it doesn't really expand on anything. It just compounds on the info we know. We already know that there was something going on in Gildan, but now we know it was a battle. We knew that there was this so-called dragon going around, and now we know that those two things are the same thing. So it doesn't really necessarily expand for me. It kind of just condenses information and makes things more clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that, gatekeeper, he's going to be the one that sees the new people coming into the town. So his explanation basically confirms what we were told in previous chapters, going, yes, this is happening. This third party is confirming this information. Yes, there was a battle. Yes, there's a guy that's calling him the dragon. It's just Robert Jordan, saying, yeah, guys, this is happening. So, I mean, he really is good at that. That's that, I do like that about his writing so far.
Perfect. Luke?
Yeah, it's world building, letting them know the world is bigger than what you think. You get out of your little Two Rivers bubble. You're about to experience things you've never seen before. So, yeah, like I said, I'm thoroughly enjoying the slow pace and you learning what you're learning the way you learn it. Little drops.
I think that they're doing a good job of scope creep so far. Like they're like slowly expanding how big your view is.
Yeah, for sure. I just will kind of echo really what you guys said with this. I just think it's another way of giving us a bit more information, a slightly different way of doing it as well. It's kind of like when we had the 2 chapters of like the peddler and the gleeman, right? It's kind of like a microcosm of that. It's kind of like, and this is what I'm going to do for a bit, just to give you a bit more info as we go along, because there's no other method of you kind of getting this news. So I'm just going to throw a character in here and there who will give you that news that might not mean a lot to you, but it might add a bit more to the story, and it will make us kind of go, right, so that means something to Lan, it means something to Moraine. Okay, cool. I'll keep my ears out in case something pops up again. So, yeah.
And that should also show us that they got status too. Like, I know Lan's resourceful in the wild. He already had a camp set, and this gatekeeper knew who they were by a different name already. They had a reputation. which we'll further hear in a little bit.
Oh, don't you worry, Spoke. This gate's not been open for days. No one went out, no one went in. Don't
That's
you worry.
right. As they were leaving the gatekeeper, he was very much, because Moraine told him, well, I'm sorry, Mistress Alice told him, you didn't see anything, right? Did you? And Lan was like, yeah, keeping it quiet. And he's like, and he definitely goes well out of his way to reassure him. Nobody even uses this gate. And they did. They entered by that gate particularly because they knew the gatekeeper. They knew because he tells them, go around to the front, basically where the main gate is. So they're definitely being smart about being sneaky. Speaking of, I was curious to find out, I did skip a question. I was curious to find out what you guys thought about Rand eavesdropping, like his curiosity about what him and Moraine are doing. Is interesting. Would you guys do that if that's your girlfriend? Would you be sneaking that? Like, would you go over that line? Is that something you would consider doing?
Maybe the first time that he did it, where they didn't even necessarily like walk away and sneak away into their own little like group, where they were just kind of like a couple feet away. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But no, that's some real bastard behavior, going and sneaking out into the night and being like, what is my girlfriend up to with this woman I don't really like and trust? Like, no, just mind your own fucking business.
Cupcake?
I don't think I would go as far as that with Annie, but it was he wants to know. He wants to know what they're talking about. It's his little Egwene. What is she doing? Why? What are they talking about? She's not supposed to be here. She's supposed to be back at home, barefoot and pregnant. So it's
Jesus Christ.
It was so it was, and I believe it was a way for us, the reader, to get a little bit more information, a little bit more lore.
So for me, hell yeah, I'm going to eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Eavesdrop,
sneaky.
no questions
Like
asked. I'm just going, yep, I need to know. What is my girl up to? Like, she, all of a sudden now she's learning how to use magical powers. Oh, I need to know more. So yeah, I'm eavesdropping, but we didn't touch on, I believe it was in chapter 13.
Oh no, don't get distracted.
It's just something that dawned on me because it feels like it's going to play a key part later on down the line. The dragon scratches on the key doors that I believe Lan told Rand on the ferry.
Yes, they make a mention of that. We heard it in town as well. It happened to the Wine Spring Inn on Bran Elvier's door. Somebody scrawled the dragon fang, which is one half of what we would right. And it's an accusatory thing. Right. Well, and when Lan and Rand were on the ferry, that's when Lan was telling Rand, we don't bring up Trollocs to them. Don't bring up being chased. Don't bring up anything, because even talking about it can get worse than the dragon's fang scrawled on your door at night. Which essentially marks you as a dark friend. And that's where Rand is like, oh shit, there's dark friends. Like, I got to worry about. You can't even tell who's a dark friend because they're people. At least you can see a Trolloc and a Fade. They're identifiable. This is just a shady guy who's going to try to get me killed. Jesus.
Yeah,
now that bit of importance being shown is makes me ask, whenever it happened in Emmons Field, they wrote it on the inns, like the front door of the inn. If it's that big of a like, oh man, fuck this person. I don't think it was very nice to mark Bran's door. They could have went in the inn and marked the door that they were like sleeping in. Like in the inn. That because you don't want to implicate somebody of that if it's this big of a deal.
Yeah, but right. Real quick before we get back on to the chapter that we're supposed to be on, with regards to that, the kind of people that would make those accusations tend to be the guilty parties themselves. Yeah, so just like in real life, all PDF stuff and what have you, some people kind of like throw stones to kind of distract from themselves. So I think that is also taken with a pinch of salt with things like when people do the Dragon's Fang, where people kind of go, it's accusing them, but other people may be a bit smarter, will kind of be like, who's doing that and why are they doing that and why are they trying to put it on this person? Real quick with regards to the question that Spurg asked with Egwene and Rand, I think it should show us how fractured that relationship is, how not deemed for greatness they are as a couple, because he's not spoke to her for 2 days. He doesn't expect her to tell him any of this stuff. So I think it kind of gives us a little look into their relationship, or lack of, maybe they are just two young kids who were kind of hooking up, and maybe that's all it's ever going to be. So yes, Spurg,
Right.
sorry, we need to crack on with this, guys, because we don't want to do a 5-hour show.
Understandable.
No, I don't want a 5-hour show, Lou. That's what I'm saying.
Well, because I can go back, because we know it was the Coplans of the Congress that did the Dragon Fang on the fucking because they're ignorant people and blah 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 blah.
Mm.
So yeah, that was kind of part of the next thing. Was there any moments to any of the rest of you? Echo just answered the question, like that pointed out that these guys are probably not as cohesive as they once thought they were. That was a really great example of Rand and Egwene really their relationships getting a wedge. Was there any other moments that like showed maybe they're not as tight as you would want to think?
It's mentioned that Rand goes to try to apologize to Egwene for being, kind of a dick, and then she is just like, never, and just turns away before he can say anything. And instead of pressing on, he's just like, fuck it. So yeah, it's pretty clear that he's kind of just resigned himself to being like, ugh, fuck it, fuck her.
Right. Mr. Cupcake.
Well, yeah, she did pretty much the same thing when she mentioned being a wisdom in the other town. She had that same kind of attitude, and I don't think they were so much as what we would consider a boyfriend and girlfriend. They were probably betrothed, as an arranged couple. So it's not so much that they were, in a relationship. More so, it was, okay, well, these two are going to be getting married, and it was. I feel it was kind of like that kind of situation. So he doesn't have those feelings of love and companionship. He has those feelings of, well, this woman was supposed to be my chosen wife, and she's not doing very wifely things.
Gotcha.
Two
Yeah.
don't know how to love each other yet. That's all it is. They're two
I love
young
that.
adults that don't know the meaning of a couple yet. They're trying to find their way in the world where, like you said, they're betrothed, but they don't know how to navigate each other just yet. That's all it is.
Very good.
Well,
Very good.
It's like any other relationship. You start off, it's going to be rocky. You figure out how to navigate that, then you'll find another problem. It's just how you keep navigating it. That's all this problem is at the moment.
Perfect. Okay, Spurg, I think are we in the inn now?
We're in the back stable. The stable hand comes out and says to Lan and Moraine, "You can't come in that way. That's not the way to come in." And then Master Fitch comes out of the inn and says, "Stop that. We're going right this way, you guys." And so, they take care of the horses, they stable the horses, and yes, now we're in the inn. And Master Fitch is very happy to see Mistress Alice and Lan walk in there, but he is a little weary because she's got 3 boys and Egwene and a gleeman who he's not exactly happy to see for some reason. He's like, "What's a it's a very suspicious group of people to him," which I'm not, to anybody with eyeballs would not be unsuspicious. What is going on here? And Lan goes into the common room to get some news, and Moraine asks if Min is about. So we get introduced sort of to a new character here. For just a split second, we get name. And we find out it's a mining town. We get a little bit of lore that the miners are all in the common room drinking, and there's wolves up in the mountains tormenting the miners, and things aren't great here either, so it seems. But that being said, it's bath time. Everybody's ready to get settled in, ready to eat. We're ready to do all the things. But first, let's go upstairs and get hot water, get a bath. The ladies take off and go in one direction. The boys all come into another. Tom, Marilyn, Rand, Matt, and Perrin are up there first and soaking in hot water. And they have I don't know what to call him. I guess an assistant. Like, there's a guy there tending the bathroom. He's an attendant. His name is Ara, and he notices all their weapons and sitting there, and he's like, "You got any trouble down in the rivers or whatever you call it?" And was trying to get some information out of him a little bit, and Matt is definitely happy to divulge any information. Yeah, there's trouble, blah blah blah. Oh, what kind of trouble? And he's like, and Ara says something about Trollocs, and then Matt goes, Trollocs, let me tell you about Trollocs. Threads his fingers behind his head and kicks back, and immediately the rest of the boys are like, stop trying to tell Tom's stories. You don't tell it right anyway. And Matt is like, what are you talking about? We just fucking ran 10 miles from. No, you're screwing it up. And Tom is beaming, looks at Matt like, shut the fuck up. Like they're all kind of doing it. This is a great scene, in my opinion. Yes.
Oh, it's so funny. Such a funny scene. You were saying earlier how understated the comedy in this is. But this was a brilliant moment. I was chuckling along when I was listening to this with Matt Petney's foot in it. It's great.
Oh, absolutely. Rand splashing him in the face with water, and that doesn't even make any type of register to Matt. Parents like trying to tell him, like, yeah, you're not telling these stories right. Also, Ara was letting slip some of the troubles that were happening right there in Barrelon with the white cloaks, and there's foot pads and muggings, and quickly catches himself divulging information and is like, I was just, saying that kind of problem down there in the rivers, the 2 rivers. Matt, is happily correcting him. So what do you guys think about like the suspicion of both of them? Like there's our group that we're with can't say anything, and then you see this guy trying to get information out of him. What do you guys think about the medieval way of probing?
I don't really have any comments on it, honestly. I think the scene was nice and interesting, and it was just a nice exchange of half information. One guy realizing, oop, I'm probably saying too much, and then the other guy is being like, we can't actually really say anything, so move along.
Fair.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he just wants information. He wants gossip. He wants to know. And then, of course, Matt, being, the kind of person that he is, he's, let me tell you about it. And then everyone's like I said, like I was doing, elbowing them, shut the fuck up. We can't talk about that shit. Shut up. Don't talk about trials. Don't talk about shit. Shut up.
Explicitly told that, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Matt is that individual that you have that you tell him, hey, don't say nothing, but he tells the world everything. Doesn't know how to shut up.
Oh, you mean don't tell him about the Trollocs that we just ran from? Okay, I won't tell him about the Trollocs that we just ran away from in our old town.
Yeah, Matt. Fucking Matt, You slash him with water and he still don't get the hint.
It was one of my favorite parts. Like he just didn't get the hint.
Like I didn't see the comedy in it, but now listening to the way you guys are breaking it down, I could see it playing off like a comedic moment. Like, yo, stupid, shut your mouth.
Yes,
it's relying on you to imagine everybody else's reaction there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so listening,
Especially since it's the first time that Tom speaks up, he gets in there. He's like, "Thank you, assistant. Off with you." And then he's just chilling. And as soon as they start speaking up, he's like, I'm tired of hearing these stories.
Oh, fucking Matt. God damn it, Matt.
Yeah, God damn it,
So,
Matt, you know better.
I think Lan jumps in just after what you was telling us, but essentially he's kind of like, you literally had one job, guys. The job is have a bath whilst not telling people about Trollocs. And I walk in and you're like, so yeah, Trollocs and stuff. Yeah, no problem. We can tell you about Trollocs. Us guys from the Two Rivers, the guys that came from the Two Rivers who saw Trollocs, who are now here. Yes, by the way,
exactly.
this is my birth certificate. This is what everyone's looking for. If you can just tell that Trolloc down the road I'm here, that'd be great. It's unbelievable, but honest to God, a funny little scene where you're kind of like, I think we're kind of seeing these guys realize, right, okay, we got to pay attention. We can't just trust people. We're naturally trustworthy. We're kind of like, we'll trust people in the village. You know, you tell them anything really, but they're realizing, right, okay, you got to be selective. You got to kind of follow what you're told. And Matt's just like, yeah. But anyway, like he's talking about it. So why can't we talk about it? And it's like, because you don't know him, because he's a stranger you just literally met. And you're like, gonna go tell him, yeah, so this is all the stuff that we're not supposed to tell anyone. Here you go. But yeah.
And that's right. Lan does come in and he straight up dismisses that guy. He's like, all right, buddy, you got to go. All right, see you later. It's like, don't you want me to get you any towels? Nope, we'll take care of it myself. I'll see to myself. See ya, buddy. And not only does he kick him out and close the door, he listens at the door for a slow count of 30, then opens the door to check the hallway and then closes the door again.
Was that not
so
later? Was that not at their dinner?
Oh no, that could, I know he does it a couple of times, but
does he do it both? Oh, that's so cool. I
don't think he doesn't do the slow count, but he definitely listens at the door to make sure that guy walked away. Okay. I know he made sure that guy walks away because then he rounds on Matt and everybody. You had one job, and that was it, and you couldn't even handle that, you goose. You can't talk to these people about Trollocs or Shadow Spawn or any of this because, again, you will wind up being accused of being an associate, a dark friend, and because everybody is basically accusatory and ignorant towards anything that there is unknown. They don't like it. No, it's not then. Okay. So they do take their baths and like Echo was mentioning, they dry off, get dressed, and head downstairs to a private dining room where Moraine and Egwene are already sitting. And everybody sits down to have a nice private dinner, which again is trying, I think, to show the secrecy that they're not out in a common room with everybody else eating. They're in their own area so they can have a private discussion. And they talk to Master Fitch and get more of the same information, but told to them a little bit different. So again, we're getting rumor, and now we as both a character in the party and the reader have to now start parsing out, well, what did happen? We're hearing conflicting reports of these, the false dragon and Aes Sedai may have all wound up dead. None of them wound up dead. They captured him. He killed them. They don't know, but they know there was a battle in Gildan, and that's kind of all you that's the only thing that's right foundational for that. A so-called false dragon. Let's go to some questions. Let's see what else I got here. And so like the now we got a lull. The atmosphere has changed yet again. Are you relaxed as well after you had your hot bath? Do you like are you feeling a little less tense now that we're in a proper city somewhere taking a bath?
No, if anything, more tense. This city is clearly not a safe haven. They only are like Moraine in this conversation like that they're currently having is saying, we're gonna stay here like tonight and then maybe tomorrow night, and then we're definitely heading out the morning after that because we're not gonna stay here long. This isn't a good place to be, especially because y'all can't shut the fuck up.
Mr. Cupcake?
Well, this is a city that's at the end of a ferry, so this is you know, I don't know if it's at a crossroads, but there is obviously a lot of traffic that goes by. So there probably are a lot of strangers. So no, as far as being calm, no, this was just a way station. You know, take a bath, get all, you know, we're gonna get a good night's sleep, and then we're gonna dip. You know, this was not, you know, we're not here for a vacation. We're here to eat and sleep and go.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just a place to rest, eat, and keep the wheel moving. That's it.
Hey, look at that, Lee. Yeah, I think as well, we're maybe kind of getting to see as well the limits. We're talking about magic earlier, and maybe the limits on Moraine, because they don't want to stay anywhere, right? They don't want to stop anywhere. They want to go, go, go. But they're like, we can't push the horses because long term they will just drop dead. And Lan keeps mentioning, hey, Moraine, how about you actually rest for a bit, yeah? You know, so you don't like drop dead potentially. We don't know what could happen to you if you just keep going, you know, on no sleep really, whilst everyone else gets the kind of placebo effect of rest. So I think maybe we're here just for isn't it great that it can add that kind of realism when you dive into it, that you're kind of like, well, she needs to rest. She's been doing a lot of magic over the last, how many days would you say they've been together? Like 4 days, 5 days? I'm not too sure.
It was a 6-day journey from Tarn Ferry to Berlon. So it was at least 6
like
days plus a couple more after that. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. So
I would say 8 days maybe total they've known each other.
Yeah, at least.
I agree, about 8 or 9 days.
Okay,
because
cool.
I first introduction, and then the next night was the thing, then the next
thing,
or the next day, right after Winter Night, and then they headed to Tarn Ferry, and I think they made it to Tarn Ferry in like record time, and it was like 3 days or something like that. So I would say no more than 10 if I had to make an educated guess.
Yeah, so I think we're learning there that they're stopping there for a reason. Yeah, they don't stop anywhere. They're stopping there because it's relatively big. They know people there. They got a base where they've got a good cover story and what have you. But I think already, you know, as Berg was saying earlier, he's a bit thrown off the innkeeper by kind of being like, oh yeah, and you've brought those 3 18-year-old lads and that 18-year-old girl and that 70-year-old or 60-year-old like gleeman. It's like, cool, you're up to shit then. Fair enough. I guess we weren't just like with a nice lady-in-law that I thought we were with before. I'm probably going to have to use this information at some point when some mysterious person maybe comes knocking at my door or some shit. So yeah, so very interesting.
Yeah, that's. I like that we're trying to get into a lull here, and contrary a little bit to what Cupcake was saying, Moraine decides to take 2 days. It's not a vacation. It's not an extended stay, but like you were mentioning, Echo, maybe Moraine does need to take a nice good night's sleep on a hot bath herself, a good meal to rest up and recharge, because it's not an unlimited resource.
Or maybe she has to do stuff in town, Spoke, as well. I've not even thought of that.
Like,
I know I've read books,
right,
but maybe she has to do stuff in town that she has to maybe be around for a bit as well. So maybe that's why they're staying. So many different possibilities, right?
Right, especially because we know that they're very thorough and have redundancy, because not do they only have plan A and B, but they got C, D, E, and F too. And it shows in the way they enter the inn. They come in through the back door, like unexpected. The writing shows
unexpected
who
but
these people
expected,
are.
because the second they're seen, the innkeeper's like, all right, come on, they're expected guests.
Exactly.
It's not the right entrance, but it is expected that they might be the type to sneak in through the back.
And not everybody was aware of it either. Not everybody in the inn was looking for them. So, and with the private dinner, again, they're being extremely secretive. Do you think they're doing a good job at that? Do you think they're taking enough precaution, despite Matt's big mouth, despite Aaron's big mouth trying to tell stories? Go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
I think despite the size of the party, yeah, like if it was just if it was just the two of them, it would be no problem because that's the norm for them. It's just them. They can sneak in and out. They can even send one of them at a time, and you send one and then the other. So it's a lot easier to manage a party of 2 than a party of 7. So 6, because it's
7. I had to count in my head. Tom, the 3 boys.
the 3
4.
boys,
Moraine and
Egwene, Tom,
Moraine and Lan.
yeah, so 7.
Yeah, that's a big
So
party.
it's a lot harder to move them in, and the gatekeeper is one thing because if the lady comes through, he even implies that she sometimes she does come through with other people, but she's never seen them with a bunch of weird country folk. And it's weird that you're the gleeman that I just let send to that town the other day. So whatever. It's not that weird for me. You're paying me to keep silent. I don't give a fuck, really. But the innkeeper, as Eckel said, it's a little bit like okay, sure. Let me just change my whole business operation in a fully booked inn and make accommodations for you because that was the agreement we had, but I didn't know you were going to do this. So maybe they're not as coverful as they could have been, but what other options do they have?
I feel they're obviously not doing a good of job as they should, only because they have 4 novices with them that don't know the ins and outs of traveling secretly.
Fair point.
They've got the 3 boys and Egwene that, Egwene maybe not so much because she's with Moraine, learning the ins and outs of being an Aes Sedai, but the 3 boys, they don't know about, this kind of adventure. They don't know that they're not supposed to talk about anything. They were just told, okay, you got to come with us. So they're not doing a good a job as they could.
Okay. Luke?
Could it be better? Sure. But again, you're dealing with a blabbermouth and Matt, and then the other 2 who these kids never left their town. They don't know how to travel secret. They don't know how to keep their mouths quiet. You just got to deal with it and hope for the best at the end of the day. That's all you can do.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think you guys are being really harsh on them. As far as we know, in this world, they seem to be doing a pretty good job. They seem to be very organized. They seem to be covering their tracks. They got rid of the ferry, but they compensated the guy with the ferry as well. They've then clearly got a good relationship with the guy letting them through the gate, and gave him extra. He's like, no, you don't have to give me it. You gave me enough for me to be your man, kind of thing. But yeah, nice one. I'll take it anyway. Same seems to be the deal with the innkeeper as well, right? He seems to be kind of like, yeah, sure, another 3 rooms, of course. Why wouldn't I be able to provide that for you without it being an inconvenience? So yes, I think they're doing a great job at it considering the circumstances. But like we said, they've probably planned ahead for a lot of these scenarios, maybe excluding Tom and Egwene. They knew it was going to kind of be at least 5 of them coming through. So I think they're doing a great job. Keep it up, guys. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up from Pineapple. Good work.
Also, this dinner where everybody's sitting, this is where Rand approaches Egwene and attempts to make that apology. And she kind of gives him the cold shoulder. And he's like, well, fine. You're going to be that way. I could be that way too. Yeah, very mature right after having a nice filling meal. From them too. So after the dinner, everybody kind of splits up. Matt and Perrin go to the common room with Tom. Tom, I believe, is downstairs telling stories and performing. Lan is off doing Lan things, and Moraine and Egwene are doing Moraine and Egwene things. And Lan is up in his bedroom, or in the room by himself. So there was 3 rooms for all of them to split. Moraine and Egwene in the ladies' room, Lan and Matt,
Perrin.
or is it Lan and Perrin in one, and then
I
Rand,
think
Matt, and
Matt.
Tom in the other one?
Yeah.
Either way, Rand is upstairs, and he's like, at this point, he can't even be bothered to go downstairs and watch Tom. Like, he's heard all the stories. He's getting tired of it. I think that speaks to him he is already fed up with the adventuring. So he falls into a nice deep sleep, and we get a very vivid dream sequence where we get to meet a lovely gentleman by the name of Beelzemon.
That was a teledream sequence.
So Rand is very early on in the dream. Rand is disoriented because of the perspectives of the room. It's lit weird. Like it's like it's lit, but there's no light or a light source to be seen. There is a fire in the hearth, and he's confronted by a guy who when he opens his eyes and mouth, you look into his eyes and it is a flame, a cavernous flame. Like, you can see endless depth into his eyes and mouth, and it's on fire. There's flame in those. You're muted, Echo.
I wasn't talking. I was going like this.
And so Rand is in fear because apparently this is the Dark One, but he names himself Beelzemon, and he says, you're going to serve me. And if you don't serve me, you're going to end up being a puppet for the Aes Sedai. And like, he explains to him, like, these people are trying, like, the Aes Sedai are trying to use you. Like, they used Mirian Stonebow and a few other names that gets dropped right here. Do you think Beelzemon's doing a good job of planting seeds of doubt in Rand's mind right here in this little early on end of the dreams? And right early on, he's letting him know that you can help me out and serve the dark side, or you could be manipulated by those people over there. What do you think about that? His choices that are laid out in front of him.
I think I guess okay. Before I can answer it, I guess I have a question. Is Shaitan and Beelzemon the same guy?
Yes. As far as that, there's multiple names for Shaitan, and Beelzemon is one of them.
So those names are both names for the Dark Lord, yes.
That's correct.
So that is the same guy. Okay, cool. So
no, that is the same name. So that is the same name. So like when we had Fade and we had Midral, and Eyeless, they're same names for the same thing. Yeah. So if your question is, are they the same names for essentially the Dark One? Yes. You're saying, are they? So is that the Dark One, or is that the same person we saw earlier? All we can really tell you is that's the same names. So like without kind of like going into telling you more than you know, all you know is the person.
You're the one being guilty of divulging too much. Yes, Shaitan, Beelzemon, the Dark One, the Dark Lord, that's all the same entity.
She would have misinterpreted it based on the answer.
Yes, Rand is clearly trying to deflect it and be like, well, A, this is a dream, and B, I don't believe you because you're evil and, you're a liar. So, poo on you. But I think he's making good points that anyone that if they just took like 2 seconds to look outside of themselves would be like, maybe I am being used, but is that a bad thing? I don't know. Rand seems a little bit immature, as we pointed out, so it could be possible that he's going to be like, well, you're using me. The Dark One told me, and he promised me he won't use me, blah, blah, blah. So I think, he's at least, whether the seeds are being planted, who knows? He's at least throwing the seeds at him and be like, hey, this exists. Maybe you should notice that.
Mr. Cupcake?
Whether I don't know if he did a good job. I just immediately got visions of, Emperor Palpatine, trying to, the Jedi are going to, with the flames, with the flames in his eyes, and his, he's definitely evil. and with what he was, saying to Rand, to me, it wasn't. He was trying to scare him into allegiance instead of convincing him.
That's a good point.
The underboss is doing what underbosses do. And I'll leave it there because I know more than what the rest of the panel knows from this dream sequence. But he's giving me level boss, not level 1, but underworld bossy vibes. That he's definitely not the main boss, but he's strong enough to be a good boss. So just take it there.
So with regards to the question with what he's kind of like laying down for him, I think he's very much playing to something we've seen from the boys from the Two Rivers, which is their natural, for some reason, distrust of the Aes Sedai. It does seem to be kind of like a bit of a curse word where they are, in terms of, they're like, I think even earlier, Bran's like, well, you could ask the Aes Sedai to save your dad from his imminent death, but like, if you want to, it might not be worth it. So it's definitely playing that up, because if you look at it literally, it seems like it's like the Dark One's like, you can come work for me and like I'll own your soul or whatever the hell the deal is, or you can go with this Aes Sedai who's kind of saving your life and you'll be a puppet for them. That's probably worse, right? And in reality, you'd be like, no, that's way better. Like, I'd definitely go with the Aes Sedai. But for some reason, he maybe sees something in Rand, or maybe just people in general, maybe it's people's distrust in general, where they're kind of like, two sides same coin, really. This, you're screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. So, maybe it's not too bad. Come to my side for some bizarre reason. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and there's little significant things that Beelzebub was trying to do there. He offered him a cup of wine because Rand was thirsty all of a sudden, and Rand almost takes a sip of the wine, but doesn't. And that's like, I think that is one of the things. He's tempting him, and Rand refused that first temptation. So that's when Beelzebub starts really hammering. I was in the era of Arthur Hawkwing when he destroyed this. Like, he literally goes out of his way to let Rand know, I still have influence. I can touch the world. I can do things that are beyond what your understanding of who I am even are.
Well, when he turned the goblet into the rat, and then broke the rat's back, like that, that to me was, do you want this to happen to you? Well, then you need to follow, so I don't do this to you. You need to follow me, and you need to come to my side.
Annie,
It was more of it was more intimidation than convincing.
Yes.
What did you think about that scene?
In order, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go Annie then.
I mean, I think it was
like
Cupcake said, it's just kind of a demonstration. It's like, well, if you don't want to serve me, I can kill you just as easy as they can use you. So you can make the choice, and you can make the wrong choice. It's just to like scare him into putting doubt in his mind and being like, crap. Well, one choice is maybe the lesser of the evil. Which one is it?
Well, Cupcake already answered, so I can go straight.
Yeah, it's a ploy. Like, remember how Moraine in the earlier chapter said, "Oh, if I have to, I'll kill you." Now it's his turn to say, "You don't follow me, I'll kill you." He's literally being threatened in both scenarios.
Yes.
So he's like, "Damn, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I follow you, I'm dead. If I follow her, I'm dead." Yo, what am I? Why are you guys so adamant to find me? Like, it's an interesting, like I said, I just love this dream sequence, the way it's told in this book. It plays so vivid and well, and dark and
His hand-
mysterious.
His hand on the back of the chair starts burning.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's very much a good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the presents. Some of your guys' responses are cutting off questions that I would ask because you're already answering them. So, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that dream sequence. Rand wakes up and decides to keep that to himself. Would you guys be more willing to tell Moraine? Are you trusting of her? Or let's get it from both perspectives. Do you think Rand should tell her? And if you were Rand, would you have told her?
Okay, I guess he obviously should, because she mentioned something about bad dreams, and it's probably alluding to this specific instance. Hey, if some demon is trying to contact you in your dream, you should probably let me know, because it's probably a good warning, that we have eyes on us. In which he kind of even mentions in the dream, you can let them know that I'm watching you, but that might put you in a worse position. So you're screwed no matter what you do, Rand. So it would make sense if Rand would be like, well, maybe I shouldn't tell her. And it's being alluded to that Rand doesn't really trust Moraine, so why should he tell her that was a dream? I didn't get hurt. I'm not waking up. My spine is still intact. So whatever, it's, as far as I know, it's a dream. So I'm going to go back to my classic thing of denial. So he should tell her, but it makes sense that he wouldn't if he doesn't.
Yeah, he should absolutely tell her. If I were Rand, yeah, I think I would. Because she saved his father. So there's that. So there's a bit of trust there. So yeah, hey wizard, I had this weird ass dream where this demon was telling me these things. I'm just letting you know, what is this about? And yeah, for sure I would, because it would bring up, what is going on with this quest we're on. For sure I would, absolutely, because it would lead to answers to questions that you didn't know you had. What in the hell is happening here?
Yeah, lots of secrecy.
Yeah. Would I tell her? Sure. Am I going to tell her? No, because I'm Rand and I'm stupid that way. That's his response. Like, yeah, you came to me. Hey, if you have these bad dreams, share them with me, and I can give you a better understanding of what you're seeing. What you're going through. But Rand is such a dingbat that he's not going to, at least from this perspective, because we didn't go into chapter 15 yet. So it's just like, dude, you just went through a traumatic experience. You watched the fucking thing get killed in your dream. Do I keep this to myself? Is the $1 million question. And like Cupcake says,
and I think it's even more important, because the first time he had like a weird dream, it was with the tower like kind of stalking him and the entity in the woods. That one clearly was like a dream, and Rand even states in this dream that this doesn't really feel like a dream. It's weird because I'm like, my memories in my head is swirling, but it's like, it feels more real. Like maybe his consciousness was transported somewhere, even if he was physically sleeping, but it seemed way more real. So yeah, definitely you should tell her, you idiot, that you have a demon literally contacting you and not some weird, metaphorical shit. Okay. The guy was very direct.
He kept trying to open the door that wouldn't open. So, I mean, this was more than just a dream.
Right. Rand was trying to get out and couldn't get out because the door just was continuously locked. He could not unlock it or move it. It was very interesting.
Luke, did you finish your point? Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead with your point now.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So welcome to Stubborn Rand, guys. The first part of the infuriating Rand that you will begin to love and hate. So yes, do I think Rand, based on the book so far, should have told Moraine? Yes, she's definitely built up enough brownie points to tell her. If I was Rand, would I tell her? Yes, 1,000,000%. I love following the rules; they're great. But with regards to this, I think it's supposed to show you he does not like getting pushed around, even if it's from people kind of being like, so there's like, essentially, let's just say it in our terms, the devil coming to you and being like, join me or else. And then you're kind of like, well, I guess I should go with the other person. He's like, well, no, I don't have to go with the other person. It's like, yeah, but that's the devil like pushing you. And he's like, yeah, but I don't have to go with the other person either. And every other person in the world, I think, would go, well, yeah, like that's better than the devil, right? And it's like, he doesn't want to make a
but
decision,
is it? Right.
No, exactly,
But-
exactly. So that is very much Rand with regards to that. Snurg, are you gonna be able to wrap this up? Do you think you got a good kind of?
That was it right there. He wakes up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm snoring again. And we are looking forward to going through a nice little tour of Barelon in the next chapter. I believe we get to leave the inn and go walk around town for a little bit and get some more information about the world around us. How are you guys liking the journey so far? I mean, we've had a few chapters that have had some significant plot points and things happen. Are you guys staying interested? Is it keeping you going?
Simply this stretch from Terran Ferry to Barelon has been more boring than the stretch from Emmons Field to Terran Ferry, but that's because they were being chased. There was an immediate sense of danger. They were, having to elude something. Whereas the second leg of the journey was just like, all right, we're going to do some training montages. Egwene's going to learn to, tap into her ability to touch the wheel power stuff. So, that's pretty cool. But was it exciting? No. But it's very interesting. So the book doesn't always have to be action, action, action. We're learning a lot of background stuff, which is just as important as being chased by a bat creature.
Yeah, I'm all in. As far as the previous chapters that the show I missed, those were very exciting. We got our shut up, sorry. We got our stand-in. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli with the sword, the bow, and the axe. I thought that was exciting. But yeah, these few chapters was much more of an exposition dump to fill us in on what's going on in the background. And while like Andy said, it was boring, but I did find it interesting in the information that we received. So I'm all in. I'm excited. Let's go on to 15, 16, 17.
I'm the opposite. I found the previous chapters boring, where these were great because we got a dream sequence. We get introduced to the White Cloaks, who play a significant role, and we find out that there's more colors to the Aes Sedai. So you're learning more than being chased by some stupid Batman wannabe. So
the Drakkar.
I'm on the opposite end of them, and like I said, I haven't gone back to the show since episode 1. I'm leaving it to the book, and the book is really keeping me focused. I like what the book is doing. So I believe what the book is done, Tom is in place of another character that was in the show in his place.
That was Tom.
Won't say
that
names.
was Tom. That was Tom. It was literally a guy called Tom. He had daggers and was a gleeman. But anyway.
Look, either
it's
way.
That different, huh, Echo? Is it?
No, it's the exact same. It's the exact same. He's got.
I don't remember him. I don't remember it in that part of the show. But hey, you know what? Like I said, I haven't gone back. But what the book is doing here is phenomenal. Like, I really enjoyed that dream sequence. Like, it's showing you another level of the dark side, like how they can manipulate their powers and stuff like that. Like, I didn't correlate it like cupcakes said, the dark and the light with like the Force. Like, this book is giving us kind of Star Wars references with the light and dark, and then Lord of the Rings fantasy with the travel. So it's like I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Nice.
Fair enough. I'll be honest. When Cupcake said boring, I think part of my pineapple heart broke. I know you probably didn't mean it literally, but my God, I absolutely have loved the last few chapters. The exposition dump, all the information, and again, I guess it is Spurg because we know roughly. If we had to kind of you'd probably have to spend a few hours, but like just roughly saying what happens over the next like 14 books, you kind of could do that, but you would miss so much. And doing this show and going through 3 chapters at a time, I catch so much more. I enjoy so much more. And I think it gives you a far deeper understanding on the characters. And maybe, to be fair, Annie and Cupcake and probably Lou won't really get it first time round, like as much more than we got it first time round for sure. But you'll probably just enjoy it for what it is, like the story and finding out new stuff about it. But because I kind of know about it, it's so much more interesting because you're putting stuff together more and you're paying more attention. So yeah, absolutely adoring doing this show. It's brilliant.
Yeah, me too. I'm having a lot of fun. And I'll be honest, yeah, breaking it down in detail like this is making me dislike Moraine more than I had beforehand, only because of her behavior. She's being, dude, I didn't realize she was so snappy at everybody early on. I'm thinking she's more like Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins, being like spit spot, and like giving everybody some nice. It's cleanup time. No, she's like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't listen to me. And I'm like, hey, geez, whoa, hello.
She's kind of a bitch, and that's why I like her.
Well, and and here's the thing. I kind of glossed over that in earlier readings because I know, and she says it, I spent my entire life, up until this moment. I'm not going to let you screw it up. Is basically what she's saying to them, and there's a level of respect that comes with that, that I'm it's getting diminished because now I am so familiar. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's scared of the Aes Sedai, not me. I'll slap her in her face. I'm not scared of her. Let her one power me. But you know what I mean? Like it's just a familiarity that makes me. I didn't think my opinions would change. Like I do have who my favorite characters are.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if my
more
favorites will change as well. The more you know, because you're absolutely right with Moraine and what have you. You're finding out a lot more, and you're digging into more of what she does because you could look at it from a very basic level of, well, she's saving them, right? Like she's like they're just ungrateful and she's saving them. But because you know more, or you kind of you're rewatching or what have you, or re-listening, whatever, you are catching a lot more stuff where you kind of going, oh yeah, that's a bit shitty. But yes, anyway,
right.
Talking about shitty, let's do some shitty plugs and get out of here. What do you reckon? Spurg,
Yes.
We'll go round the clock. If Luke comes back in time, he can do his. Go on, Spurg.
Well,
All right, at Spurgsnake. Shut up, Lou. At Spurgsnake on Twitter and YouTube. Follow me there because I will be tweeting out every show that I watch all the time.
Perfect. Annie?
I think you should go follow at Mondays Weekly on YouTube. He does a great video documentary series on different locales, including Stuttering John, if you're into that. If you want to check out me, go to insanity.com.
Get 2 plugs. Cupcake?
As always, you can follow my channel. It's Cupcake's Corner with American Cupcake, or just search at American Cupcake on YouTube. I don't have a computer right now, so we're not doing Warp Speed, but on Sundays we do Belly Bros with me, Lou, and Kahuna, and sometimes 2K. We talk about a bunch of stuff. Be prepared to have a fun show this Sunday, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. And Lou?
Yeah, you could follow me on Twitter at Lou the Monster 1. Like Cupcake just said, I'm on his channel. I also have a YouTube channel where we put up some things here and there. So back to you, Pineapple.
Brilliant. You do have to guess what his at is because he won't tell you. You're on my channel already, idiots. You can watch my show 3:00 Eastern every Saturday. It rotates, pint double pint, chewing the shit between 2 hacks. It's great. It's amazing. You can also catch shows like this And what's your handle? Pre-recorded shows that get released. Brilliant. Make sure you do follow these guys. It takes you a minute. Come on and hit that like button. Let's get out of here, guys. Thank you very much.
We walk the footsteps of our fathers, the trailblazed by our mothers. They bought the land with their blood long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Oh, sing of Manetheren. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for Manetheren. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Sing of Manetheren. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for Manetheren. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my. Sing of Manetheren. Oh, weep for the blood of Ammon. Oh, cry for Manetheren. Long ago, long ago. Aiel, Ogiers, and AudioBooks, oh my.